Okay, are we live? I think we're live.
We're live now. Sorry, I didn't do enough.
Don't worry. We're not putting up a hoity-toity show here. Okay, so we are live on Facebook and YouTube. So we're continuing this morning with Ch.Ch. We have reached chapter 20, Mahaprabhu's instruction to Sanatana Goswami. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Sanatana Goswami in the science of the absolute truth. So Mahaprabhu spent 10 days instructing Srila Rupa Goswami in Prayag, and now he's continuing on his way back to Puri, and he stops in Varanasi on the way, and there Sanatana Goswami meets with him. But before that, we hear some description of how, because if we backtrack, we can remember Sanatana Goswami was actually imprisoned by the Nawab. And so we'll hear how he became free from prison and made his way to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Dasa Vrindavanam Vande Krishna Dasa Prabhum Tata Chanavatar Chaitanya Lila Vishtar Karino Do Nityananda Prabja Karunarenu Bhushito Vyakta Chano Burachincho Vavande Vyasarupino Shri Guru Gaur Gandharva Govindascha Ganai Saha Jayanti Patakaschacha Sarvesham Kuranartino. So we are continuing with Ch.Ch. Vande Nanta Dutaishvaryam Nicho Piyat Prasadat Syad. Oh, I read that wrong. Vande Nanta Dutaishvaryam Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhum Nicho Piyat Prasadat Syad Bhakti Shastra Pavartakaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has unlimited wonderful opulences. By his mercy, even a person born as the lowest of men can spread the science of devotional service. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya, Jai Nityananda, Jai Dvaita Chandra, Jai Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Etta Gore Sanatanache Bandi Shale, Shri Rupa Gosaya Patri Ailohe no Kale. While Sanatana Goswami was imprisoned in Bengal, a letter arrived from Srila Rupa Goswami. So for Rupa Goswami, it was easy to get away. But Sanatan, he was somehow more involved and more close with the Nawab, and so the Nawab wasn't so, he wasn't going to allow Sanatan to get off so easily. And so as we heard, Sanatan had to deliberately make the Nawab angry at him so as to become disassociated with him, disconnected from his government service. And then he was imprisoned as a result. But anyhow, Rupa Goswami, he returned back to their hometown, Bakla Chandradweep in East Bengal. And then from there, he made his way towards Vrindavan to meet with Mahaprabhu, and actually met Mahaprabhu in Prayag as Mahaprabhu was leaving Vrindavan. But anyhow, so Rupa sent a letter to Sanatan to update him. And I have a purport here telling us exactly what the letter said, a cryptic message. Purport: Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur informs us that this letter from Rupa Goswami to Sanatana Goswami is mentioned by the annotator of the Udbhata Chandrika. And I don't know what that is, but there were, we're familiar with Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat, but there were, of course, many, historians, or however you want to call it. There were a number of persons who made some type of historical account of Mahaprabhu's Leela and that of his associates. So this is one of those. So this letter is mentioned there. Srila Rupa Goswami wrote a note to Sanatana Goswami from Bakla, so that's their home village in what's now Bangladesh, Bakla Chandradweep, This note indicated that Mahaprabhu was coming to Mathura, and it stated, Yadupate kwa gata Mathura pudi, Raghupate kwa gatotada koshala, iti vichincha kurushva manastiram nasadidam jagat ityava dadaya. Where has the Mathura Puri of Jadupati gone? Where has the northern Koshala of Raghupati gone? By reflection, make the mind steady, thinking this universe is not eternal. So, a very cryptic message, because Rupa Goswami knew that the letter would most likely be intercepted and read by various persons along the way. So it's very cryptic, but he's indicating, he's mentioning the Mathura Puri of Yadupati, so indicating Krishna. The northern Koshala Raghupati is Ramachandra. So indicating the Supreme Lord has again descended, and he's heading to Vrindavan or Mathura. By reflection, make the mind steady, thinking this universe is not eternal. So don't waste your time. We have to use this moment that we have. Pachripaya sanata nanandita hoila, javanrakshaka bhash kohite lagila. When Sanatana Goswami received this note from Rupa Goswami, he became very pleased. He immediately went to the jail superintendent, who was a meat eater, and spoke as follows. Tumi ek jinda pira mahabhagyavan ketabo kodan shastre ache tomar gyan. Sanatana Goswami told the Muslim jailkeeper, Dear sir, you are a saintly person and are very fortunate. You have full knowledge of the revealed scriptures, such as the Quran and similar books. Ekabandi chare jadi nija dharma dekiya samsar hoite tare mukta koden gosaya. If one releases a conditioned soul or imprisoned person according to religious principles, he himself is also released from material bondage by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. It appears from this statement that Sanatana Goswami, who was formerly a minister of the Nawab, so indicating his intelligence, and this is what we were discussing the other day, Sanatana Goswami, he's a pure devotee, he's an eternal associate of the Lord, but he's also streetwise. He also knows how to deal with the world. So it appears from this statement that Sanatana Goswami, who was formerly a minister of the Nawab, was trying to cheat the Muslim superintendent. A jail superintendent had only an ordinary education, or practically no education. And he was certainly not supposed to be very advanced in spiritual knowledge. But just to satisfy him, Sanatana Goswami praised him as a very learned scholar of the scriptures. The jailkeeper could not deny that he was a learned scholar, because when one is elevated to an exalted position, one thinks oneself fit for that position. This is a danger we all have to watch out for.
Is that sarcasm from Swami?
I mean, Swami Maharaj's style to me always comes across as very straight talking, not sarcastic. He's just being very straight. It's true. His style is very direct. Gurudev once, he was commenting on that, like kind of chuckling over it, how some of his purports, they were very heavy, And Gurudev was commenting that he read some of his talks or articles in the Bhakti Godhead magazine, and I can't remember the exact adjectives he used, but he could be quite sharp, and direct and cutting, So I don't think he's being sarcastic, he's just being very straightforward. maybe some elements. Sanatana Goswami was correctly explaining the effects of spiritual activity, and the jailkeeper connected his statement with his release from jail. So Sanatana is trying to convince him to release him from prison, right? And he's, of course, what's told in the scriptures is if you release someone from material bondage, then you yourself can also be released. It's not talking about physical imprisonment in jail. But Sanatana knows this man's a little foolish, not very educated. I can, play with him a little bit. Whereas, if he were straightforward, if Sanatana said, "Oh, I want to go to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Vrindavan, please let me go just out of the goodness of your heart," there would be no chance, So he has to tell some white lies here. Porve ami tomar koriachi upakar, tumi ama chari koro pratyupakar. Sanatana continued, "Previously I have done much for you. Now I am in difficulty. Please return my goodwill by releasing me." And most likely Sanatana did, because he had such a high position. He could very well have, bestowed some favors upon this man. Pancha sahasra mudra tumi koro angikar, punyarta duila bhoibe tomar. Here are 5,000 gold coins. Please accept them. By releasing me, you will receive the results of pious activities and gain material profit as well. Thus you will profit in 2 ways simultaneously. Tobe se javan kohe shuno mahashoy, tomare charibo kintu koriraja boy. In this way, Sanatana convinced the jailkeeper, who replied, "Please hear me, my dear sir. I am willing to release you, but I am afraid of the government." Sanatan kohe tumi na koro raja boy, takin giache jadi luti aho jai. Tahare kohio se bhaja kriche gelo, ganga nikata ganga deki japadilo. Sanatana replied, "There is no danger. The Nawab has gone to the south. If he returns, tell him that Sanatana went to pass stool near the bank of the Ganges, and that as soon as he saw the Ganges, he jumped in." Onek dekilota lagna pailo daduka sahita dubi kahavahi gelo. Tell him, "I looked for him a long time, but I could not find any trace of him. He jumped in with his shackles, and therefore he was drowned and washed away by the waves." Kichu boy nahi ami edeshe na robo, dada vesho hoyami makya ke jaibo. There is no reason for you to be afraid, for I shall not remain in this country. I shall become a mendicant and go to the holy city of Mecca. Tatapi, so this is like the Vaishnava version of Mecca, the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Tatapi javanman prasanana dekila, satahajar mudratar agerashi koila. Sanatana Goswami could see that the mind of the meat-eater was still not satisfied. He then stacked 7,000 gold coins before him. So from 5,000 to 7,000. The argument's becoming more convincing. Lo boilo javaner mudra dekia, rache ganga par koilo daduka katia. When the meat-eater saw the coins, he was attracted to them. He then agreed, and that night he cut Sanatana's shackles and let him cross the Ganges. Gadadwar patta chadila naretaha jaite, nachi din chole aila pattada parvate. In this way, Sanatana Goswami was released. However, he was not able to walk along the path of the fortress. Walking day and night, he finally arrived at the hilly tract of land known as Pattada. Tatek bomikoi tartai gela, parvat par koroama vinati korila. After reaching Pattada, he met a landholder and submissively requested him to get him across that hilly tract of land. Sebuar sange hoy hata ganita, buar kane kohe sejaniye kata. A man who was expert in palmistry was at that time staying with the landlord. Knowing about Sanatan, he whispered the following in the landlord's ear. Ihartai suvaner ashtamohar hoy shunyanandita buya. Sanatane koi. The palmist said, "This man, Sanatan, possesses 8 gold coins." Hearing this, the landlord was very pleased and spoke the following to Sanatana Goswami. Achye parvatapa koriboni jaloktiya bojan koroho tumi randan koriya. The landlord said, "I shall get you across that hilly tract at night with my own men. Now just cook for yourself and take your lunch." Etaboli anadilo korea saman sanatan asitobe koilonadisnan. Saying this, the landlord offered Sanatan grain to cook. Sanatan then went to the riverside and took his bath. So, presumably this is like kind of a dangerous area or something like that, and so he needs some help to get through. So he's asked this man, and he's been extremely friendly. Duyupavase koila randan bojane rajamanchi sanatan vichari lamane. Because Sanatan had been fasting for 2 days, he cooked the food and ate it. However, having formerly been a minister of the Nawab, he began to contemplate the situation. I like this line very much. He's suspicious, Why is this man being so friendly to him, giving him food, and being very sweet? So it says, because he was fasting for 2 days, he accepted the food, he cooked it and he ate it. But Raja Mantri, he was the prime minister, he began to consider the situation. Raja Mantri, he's a prime minister, so he's very smart. He knows how people think. So he's feeling some suspicion. Ebuya kene more saman korilo, eta chinti sanatan ishane pochilo. As a former minister for the Nawab, Sanatan could certainly understand diplomacy. He therefore thought, why is this landlord offering me such respect? Thinking in this way, he questioned his servant, whose name was Ishan. Tomartai jani kichu dravya choy, Ishan kohe mortai shatta moha hoy. Sanatan asked his servant, Ishan, I think you have some valuable things with you. Ishan replied, yes, I have 7 gold coins. So this man who was in the company of the landlord, it says he was expert in palmistry, but that would have included other things. Probably he could do astrology, things like that. But anyhow, by some means, he was able to calculate that Sanatan, or in his possession, in the possession of his servant Ishan, had this money. So the idea of this landlord was, I'm going to get that money from him by hook or by crook. But actually, Sanatan didn't even know that the money was with him, because Ishan had secretly... Because it's very dangerous, and like they're out in the wild. He can't go along the main path because he's a fugitive of the government, so he has to travel like off on the back roads where there's lots of thieves and all kinds of, dubious persons. So it's dangerous to, it's like if you're going into a dangerous ghetto carrying $1,000 cash, like it's a death sentence. You won't do that, or flashing some fancy jewelry or something like that. So it's a death sentence. So Sanatana's thinking, maybe Ishan's carrying something, that I didn't know about. So he asks him. And then you hear Ishan's reply, I have 7 gold coins. Like, hang on, the math doesn't quite add up here. This other guy calculated 8. So Sanatan asked his servant Ishan, I think you have some valuable things with you. Ishan replied, yes, I have 7 gold coins. And this is the advantage of persons who are familiar with the Vedic culture. They have all these arts. Like the same thing happened with the king of Vishnupur. He stole those books from Narottam, Srinivas, and Shamananda because he had an astrologer who was able to calculate these jewels are coming, and he thought it meant literally jewels, but it was actually books, jewels in the form of books. So Sanatan's, he must be considering all these possibilities. Shuni Sanatan tare korila bartsan sange kene aniyacho e kalojam. Hearing this, Sanatan Goswami chastised his servant, saying, why have you brought this death knell with you? Tobe se satamohar haste te kodiya, uar kache jaya kohe mohar dodiya. Thereupon, Sanatan Goswami took the 7 gold coins in his hands and went to the landlord. Holding the gold coins before him, he spoke as follows. E satta suvarna mohar achilo amar, ihaloya dharma deki parvata kodopar. I have these 7 gold coins with me. Please accept them. And from a religious point of view, please get me across that hilly tract of land. Rajabandi ami gada dwar jaite na padi punya hobe parvatama deho par kodi. I am a prisoner of the government, and I cannot go along the way of the ramparts. So I don't know what ramparts are, but it's something on the main road. It will be very pious of you to take this money and kindly get me across this hilly tract of land. Oyahasi kohe ami janiyachi pohile, ashtamohar hoitomar seva kanchale. Smiling, the landlord said, before you offered them, I already knew that there were 8 gold coins in your servant's possession. Tomamadi mohar loitam najikarachiye, balo hoilo gohila tumi chutila papa hoite. On this very night, I would have killed you and taken your coins. It is very good that you have voluntarily offered them to me. I am now relieved from such a sinful activity. And I can't really understand how much that would have been, but enough for him, 7, 8 gold coins would be enough for him to kill somebody. So it's a lot. Well, that's a good question. We're going to find out. This landlord had calculated that he had 8 gold coins, but Sanatan only knows about 7 that Ishan has told him about. But now the landlord has told him, I know that you had 8 gold coins. So we'll see what happens. Santushta hoilawami moharna loibo punyalagi parvatoma parakodi dibo. I am very satisfied with your behavior. I shall not accept these gold coins. but I shall get you across that hilly tract of land simply to perform a pious activity. Gosai kohe keho dravya loibe ama mani, amar prana daka koro dravyangi kodi. Sanatana Goswami replied, if you do not accept these coins, someone else will kill me for them. It is better that you save me from the danger by accepting the coins. Tobe buya Gosaier sange chadi paika dilo, rachie vanapate parvata par koilo. After this settlement was made, the landlord gave Sanatana Goswami 4 watchmen to accompany him. They went through the forest path for the whole night, and thus brought him over the hilly tract of land. Tobe par hoya Gosai puchila ishane, jani shesh javya kichu ache tomastane. After crossing the hills, Sanatana Goswami told his servant, Ishan, I think you still have some balance left from the gold coins. Ishan kohe kamohar ache avashesh, Gosai kohe mohaloya jaha tumidesh. Ouch. Ishan replied, I still have 1 gold coin in my possession. Sanatana Goswami then said, take the coin and return to your home. So what does Ishan do? Does he throw away the coin and say, no, I want to come with you? No, unfortunately not. It's a very instructive, pastime here. That he's being offered. We can't even begin to say what he's being offered. No, he has the most inconceivable opportunity before him. Not only to be in the company of Sanatana Goswami, but coming to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, entrance into an eternal life of divine service. But he can't appreciate the value of that, So he has 1 gold coin, and that, where he's now in his consciousness, that's more valuable. So it's actually it's a wonderful teaching for us, that how much are we being offered, and how much are we actually appreciating that, and how much are we sacrificing our spiritual, progress for the sake of so many lower things that we consider to be so important, which are not actually so important. So it's very, very valuable teaching here. Tade vidai dia Gosai cholila ekala, hate karonya chinda kanta nirbahe hoila. After departing from Ishan, Sanatana Goswami began traveling alone with a water pot in his hand. Simply covered with a torn quilt, he thus lost all his anxiety. Chole chole Gosai tobe aila haji pore, sandhya kale bosilae kudyan bitare. Walking and walking, Sanatana Goswami finally arrived at a place called Hajipur. That evening he sat down within a garden. Se Hajipure rohe shikanda tarnam, Gosayer bagini pati kore rajakam. In Hajipur there was a gentleman named Srikanta, who happened to be the husband of Sanatana Goswami's sister, so his brother-in-law. He was engaged there in government service. Tin laka mudra raja diache tarstane, Goda mulya loya patai patsahastane. Srikanta had 300,000 gold coins with him, which had been given to him by the emperor for the purchase of horses. Thus Srikanta was buying horses and dispatching them to the emperor. Tongi upar bosi se gosai re dekilo, rachie ka jan sange gosai pashailo. When Sri Kanta was sitting in an elevated place, he could see Sanatana Goswami. That night he took a servant and went to see him. Duijan militata ishta goshti koilo, bandan mokan kata gosai sakali kohilo. When they met, they had many conversations. Sanatana Goswami told him in detail about his arrest and release. Teokohe dindui rohoe stane bajrahao chadae malin vasane. Sri Kanta then told Sanatan, stay here for at least 2 days and dress up like a gentleman. We can just imagine like how, how disheveled and dirty Sanatan looked. He's been, he's on the run, as a fugitive from the government, hasn't bathed or changed his clothes for quite some days now, wearing some, and he was in prison before that. So his brother-in-law is concerned. Gosai kohe kakan nihanaro hibo, ganga par koride hoe kane cholibo. Sanatan replied, I shall not stay here even for a moment. Please help me cross the Ganges. I shall leave immediately. So it's interesting, this whole pastime. We see how, there's different analogies here which are very instructive. So like here, there's some kind of temptation, like stay and be comfortable, dress nicely, I'll take care of you. And Sanatan's like, I'm not stopping for anything. Like, I'm on my way. The Ch.Ch. Maharaj used to tell this pastime a lot. He really appreciated this example that Sanatan shows. I won't stay here for 1 moment. Please help me cross the Ganges. I shall leave immediately. Jatna kori te hoek bhota kamba dilo, ganga par kori dilo, gosai cholilo. With great care, Sri Kanta gave him a woolen blanket and helped him cross the Ganges. Thus Sanatana Goswami departed again. Tobe Varanasi Gosai aila koto dine shuni anandita hoila Prabhara gamane. After a few days, Sanatan arrived at Varanasi. He was very pleased to hear about Mahaprabhu's arrival there. Chanda Shekarer Gore Asi Dwarete Bosila Mahaprabhu Jani Chanda Shekare Kohila. Sanatana Goswami then went to the house of Chandra Shekhar and sat down by the door. Understanding what was happening, Mahaprabhu spoke to Chandra Shekhar. Dwarek Vaishnav hoye bolo hota hare Chandra Shekhar deke Vaishnav nahi ko dware. Mahaprabhu, so Sanatan's very shy. He's just sitting outside the door. He's been able to deduce where Mahaprabhu is. He's just sitting outside the door. But Mahaprabhu, he knows everything going on. So Mahaprabhu said, there is a devotee, there is a Vaishnav at your door. Please call him in. Going outside, Chandra Shekhar could not see a Vaishnav at his door. And Sanatan, he even had a beard, because he was, associating with the Muslim government. So he was dressing like them also. So Chandra Shekhar's, I don't see any Vaishnava at my door. When Chandra Shekhar informs the Lord that no Vaishnav was at his door, the Lord asked him, is there anyone at all at your door? Teokohe dadave shache dwade, tadeyana prabhavakye kohilo tahade. Chandra Shekhar replied, there is a Muslim mendicant. Mahaprabhu immediately said, please bring him here. Chandra Shekhar then spoke to Sanatana Goswami, who was still sitting beside the door. Prabhu tomai bolai aisa daravesh, shuni anande sanatan korila pravesh. O Muslim mendicant, please come in. The Lord is calling you. Sanatana Goswami was very pleased to hear this order, and he entered Chandrasekhar's house. Tahare angane deki Prabhu daya haila, tare alingan kode prema vishta hoila. As soon as Mahaprabhu saw Sanatana Goswami in the courtyard, he immediately went up to him with great haste. After embracing him, the Lord was overwhelmed in ecstatic love. Prabhu sparshe prema vishta hoila sanatan morena choniho kohe gadgada vachan. As soon as Mahaprabhu touched Sanatan, Sanatan was also overwhelmed with ecstatic love. In a faltering voice, he said, "O my Lord, do not touch me." Dui jane gola goli rodana par deki Chandrasekhare hoilo chamatkar. Shoulder to shoulder, Mahaprabhu and Sanatan began to cry unlimitedly. Chandrasekhar was very much astonished to see this. Tobe Prabhu tar hat dodi loya gela pindar upade apan pashe bosaila. Catching his hand, Mahaprabhu took Sanatan inside and made him sit on an elevated place next to him. Shihaste kodintar anga samarjan teo kohe more Prabhu nakoro sparshan. When Mahaprabhu began cleansing Sanatana Goswami's body with his own transcendental hand, Sanatan said, "O my Lord, please do not touch me." Prabhu kohe Thomas Parshi Atma Pavitrite Bhakti bole partumi Brahmanda sodite. The Lord replied, "I am touching you just to purify myself, because by the force of your devotion you can purify the whole universe." Bhavad vidha bhagavatas tirtha bhuta swayam prabho tirti korvanti tirtani swantastena gadabrata. This is a verse from Bhagavatam. Saints of your caliber are themselves places of pilgrimage. Because of their purity, they are constant companions of the Lord, and therefore they can purify even the places of pilgrimage. Name bhaktas chaturvedi mad bhakta swapachapriya tasmai deyam tatograyam sacha pujo yatahyaham. Lord Krishna said, even though a person is a very learned scholar of the Sanskrit Vedic literatures, he is not accepted as my devotee unless he is pure in devotional service. However, even though a person is born in a family of dog eaters, he is very dear to me if he is a pure devotee who has no motive to enjoy fruitive activity or mental speculation. Indeed, all respects should be given to him, and whatever he offers should be accepted. Such devotees are as worshipable as I am. Viprad dvisad guna yuttad aravinda nabha padara vinda vimukhat swapacham vadishtam manyetad arpita mano vachanehi tarta pranam punati sakulam natu buddhi mana. One may be born in a Brahmin family and have all 12 Brahminical qualities, but if he is not devoted to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who has a navel shaped like a lotus, he is not as good as a Chandala, who has dedicated his mind, words, activities, wealth, and life to the service of the Lord. Simply to take birth in a Brahmin family or to have Brahminical qualities is not sufficient. One must become a pure devotee of the Lord. If a Shwapacha or Chandal, means a dog eater, is a devotee, he delivers not only himself but his whole family. Whereas a Brahmin who is not a devotee but simply has Brahminical qualifications cannot even purify himself, what to speak of his family. Toma deki, toma sparshi, gaye tomar gun, sarvendriya fole, shastra nirupan. Mahaprabhu continued, by seeing you, by touching you, and by glorifying your transcendental qualities, one can perfect the purpose of all sense activity. To see you, to touch you, to speak your glories, Sarvendriya fall. This is the fulfillment of all the senses. What is the use of eyes without seeing the Vaishnavas? What is the use of touch without being able to embrace the Vaishnavas? What is the use of the tongue, the power of speech, if one cannot glorify the Vaishnavas? This is the real fulfillment of all of our senses. This is Mahaprabhu himself speaking about his pure devotees. This is the verdict of the revealed scriptures. Akno phalam tvajisha darshanam hi tano phalam tvajisha gaccha sangha jiva phalam tvajisha kirtanam hi sudorlabha bhagavata hi loke. My dear Vaishnav, seeing a person like you is the perfection of one's eyesight. Touching your lotus feet is the perfection of the sense of touch, and glorifying your good qualities is the tongue's real activity. For in the material world, it is very difficult to find a pure devotee of the Lord. Eta kohi kohe Prabhu shuno sanatan Krishna bodo doyamoy patita pavan. Mahaprabhu continued, my dear Sanatan, please hear from me. Krishna is very merciful, and he is the deliverer of all fallen souls. Maharoda voite toma korila udhar kripa samudra Krishna gambhir apar. My dear Sanatan, Krishna has saved you from Maharodava, life's deepest hell. He is an ocean of mercy, and his activities are very grave. Sanatan kohe Krishna ami nahi jani amar udar hetu tomar kripa mani. Sanatan replied, I do not know who Krishna is. As far as I am concerned, I have been released from prison only by your mercy. Well, he says, you are the cause of my deliverance, like that, not speaking about prison, but more in a broad sense. Material existence. Okay, it's a good place to stop. This is just one of the sweetest sections of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Very, very beautiful. Sweet is the conclusion with Mahaprabhu, but then previously, it's just very compelling, the whole description of Mahaprabhu, of Sanatan escaping from prison, and so many instructive points there. And then there's this wonderful conclusion of this meeting with Mahaprabhu. Really, really wonderful section to hear. So we can stop there for today. It's a good place to stop. And we can continue tomorrow. And then we'll hear Mahaprabhu's instructions to Sanatana for the benefit of all souls. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Shri Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami ki Jai. Who's going to sing?
Between these two Kirtanis.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha.
Hare
श्रीमद् भक्ति निर्माणाचार्य महाराज की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिक्राचार्य वार्या सतरस श्रीमद् भक्ति सुंदर गोविंद देव स्वयं महाराज की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिक्राचार्य वार्या सतरस श्रीमद् भक्ति राकाक्ष देव स्वयं महाराज की जय। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिक्राचार्य वार्या आस्तरस श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर की जय। श्री रूपनु गुरुवार की जय। नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। जय सा प्रसाद श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। सा प्रसाद सीमा महाप्रभु की जय। जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपी गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। तुलसी महारानी की जय। जय समवेत वैष्णव मंडल की जय। समवेत भक्तवृंद की जय। हरि नाम
Sriyukta Vishakha Devi joy. He tried to, he pronounces like in Bengali.